This is the Numbani VOD of Splyce versus Selfless in the FACEIT ELeague qualifiers. I think the winner of this match goes to LAN. The best of 3, and this is map 1. So defense is Splyce, and they're going to be running a Reinhardtless comp with a Genji Winston, Zarya, and a McCree, as opposed to the more standard Reinhardt, Zarya. I'd say Winston's pretty normal. I don't know, there's a lot of comps you can run Numbani, so this isn't that crazy. It's just a pretty aggressive comp, but it's very deathmatchy, and it's very good on the second point, not just the first point. The one thing I think they're gonna have trouble with is like defending this hallway because they don't really have a frontliner. Like Winston's not as good at frontlining as a Reinhardt. On offense, it's actually a mirror comp, except they're running, no, it's not a mirror comp. They're running Winston Genji on attack, which is pretty standard because controlling these upper areas is pretty important. And then they're running Genji Diva or Tracer Diva, which is a little different. They're not running a Reinhardt, they're not running a Zarya, they're not running a McCree. They're just running 3 like very mobile heroes and then a 4th mobile hero tank. So like their whole strategy is actually pretty straightforward. It's just they're gonna overload you in one area. Like all 3 of these heroes have high ground ability, and Tracer is just annoying. So like if these 3 heroes can create space, then Tracer can get him from the back or from the front, and just generally this is just a lot of damage and a lot of like, it doesn't matter where you are, these heroes can get to you, and I guess that's the selling point of their comp. Let's see what happens. I watched this live, but I don't remember how the fights went. I remember the results. I don't remember the times either. Don't blame me.
Yesterday on the McCree, he was really on point with a lot of the shots, and you know we've seen of course with teams like Envious how much impact a McCree can really have, and so I hope to see more of that from Clockwork as we start to.
Alright, so this is kind of a set play, I guess. They're gonna run the Tracer in from the underneath, they're gonna run the Winston from the left, and they're gonna run, I guess, the Diva and the rest of them through the main. I'm not sure where the Diva went, but we'll find out. But they're just trying to like catch them off guard, like just throw people from every angle, and I guess it's a good idea. The Tracer gets in behind for free. Okay, so that was actually really cool. They ran the Winston and the Diva up the side, like up the right side if you're pushing. They just jumped the top right, and then they made the Tracer come in from the back. So they pinched everyone in this back alley that wasn't ready. I didn't really like the positioning, to be honest, from Splyce. I think that they shouldn't have been so split up. They should have all just committed to one side and held it. Putting half your team on the left and putting half your team on the right definitely opens up opportunities like this. And especially if you don't have a hero like a McCree or a Reaper that can like actually do damage in here, it's just really hard for this to, like, this is a really good play from Selfless. Like it was definitely an execute, like they knew what they were going to do, they had a plan. But I would say that Splyce would have had better results if they had scouted it earlier and not had their team split up. Because this should just be a one fight for Selfless, like immediately. Like they should just be fine here, unless like some crazy play comes out from Shrugger. I feel like Michael 3D should just be getting healthy right now, but it looks like, I mean, they're in good position. But their health is really low on Selfless. Like Dak needs to just switch to heal him and like get them alive. But that was a really easy push. Like there was nothing to talk about there. That was just a really nice play. Like pretty much all that they did was they ran the Winston Diva. Where's my drawing? My drawing. Why isn't this working? Pencil? Hello? Why is my pen? Guys, the pen's not working. Okay, there's the pen. Okay. So they ran the Diva and the Winston this way. They ran the Tracer from underneath. And they just pinched them in this back alley. The only mistake I think that they make here is Dak actually didn't switch to healing aura fast enough. Like he was on the point on speed, but half of his team was low as shit. And they actually could have lost this, I think, if Splyce had hit a few more shots or just like one more player had lived a little bit longer. Because the health on Selfless was pretty bad. But that was just a set play, like 100% set play. There was nothing like interesting about it in terms of what happened during the fight because it was like a very quick and swift victory. But teams are getting good at this in that they'll come up with like strategies for that initial push on certain maps, and that was definitely planned in advance and really paid off.
Selfless.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at how that fight and how that developed. What came down to is that Splyce gave
Chaina's Ghost switches to Reinhardt now. Juvenile switches to Reinhardt now. Like now they're gonna get more standard comps. I think Reinhardt's pretty like you need a Reinhardt for the streets phase. Because of the range, like the hit scan on this map is pretty like there's a lot of sightline for you to take spam from. So you generally need the Reinhardt. Reinhardt's good at pushing carts, and the Reinhardt's good at holding chokes. And I think Earthshatter is probably like one of the best ults in the game. So they're gonna switch to it. Their damage is a little wonky though, Splyces, because they're running the Zarya, McCree, and the Genji. I think if you're gonna run Zarya Genji, you might as well run like a Winston Tracer. This comp is a little, it's good, but it's a little funky, I guess, is how I'm trying to explain it. Like teams will run this normally, but I think you're like committing on the like the Genji going in, and then you have like I guess the McCree. It's just Dragon Blade into Black Hole is always good, so that's why it's good. But they're a pretty squishy team, I guess, if you discount these two, because they're not running like a Reaper or something along those lines. I think Emong is going to stay Tracer. I really like Tracer on this point, especially on offense, because you can go around like the buildings and stuff. Like there's a lot of area for you to play in these houses over here. Like there's health packs over here, there's health packs over here. There's just a lot of space for you to come in and like come around. There's even like the flank angle, and then you can get up on this balcony ledge thing. So like that's pretty cool. So that's why the Tracer's good. The Genji is still good. The Winston's still good. Especially since Splyce isn't running like a Reaper or anything tank busting, I guess. I mean, they have the Zenyatta, but that's about it. The good news for Selfless is that they won that fight so like handedly. Like Brad died first, like Pure, the Zenyatta was the first person to die, and he never got back to the fight, so his ult's actually super low, as opposed to Chili, who's like pretty close. And as you can see, like before I was criticizing Dak for not going on heals, and like you can tell that he wasn't on heals. Like he's only at 36%, Ninja Nick's at 64. So this is actually just a matter of him not hitting, like switching his crossfade, and it's kind of it's like apparent that he didn't switch his crossfade. I guess the trade-off is that Chili got a lot of healing done, but I think it would have been made more sense if these guys were closer. But it's not the end of the world because they're gonna have Zenyatta ult way earlier than Splyce will. But yeah, that's just a breakdown on the points. For the ults and stuff. The Pure gets a kill there on Emong. Not really sure how that happens. You don't really want that to happen. If you're Splyce right now, though, you want to take a fight while the cart is about to turn the corner. Like, you don't want it to get anywhere near this bus. You can take a fight before the cart gets to the bus, you're in good shape. And they should be taking the fight right now because they just got the kill on the Tracer. Like, right now you want to engage on the cart, and they're going to. Robwiz goes down. I don't mind this trade at all. Like, this is a good play from Splyce because, talk about it, I guess. They didn't commit anything. They actually just popped Dragon Blade. Shrugger had gotten a lot done on the first point. He died, like they lost the first point, but he got a lot of damage in, so his ult was up first. They had there was a few unforced errors here, though. Like, Emong shouldn't have died. I don't think he was there at the beginning of that fight. I think Robwiz popped his Dragon Blade, but got shut down immediately, so like that was just unfortunate. But Splyce is in a really good position right now, because like if you can take a fight with just one DPS ult on defense, like that's the best case scenario for you, because like if you don't have to pop defensive ults, the game just gets easier. Like for the next 3 fights or 2 fights or however many fights they want, like you can take one fight with Black Hole, you can take another fight with Drop the Beat. You'll probably have to blow 2 of them at once, but it's not the end of the world. Generally speaking, when you're on defense, you only want to pop 2 ults at the same time. You never really want to pop 3 unless the third one is like a DPS ult. So like it would make sense for them to pop Drop the Beat into Black Hole and just take a fight and maybe try to bait out offense's Transcendence. But if you dump too many ults on defense, you wind up in a position where you can't hold anymore. So right now they're in a really good position because Pure doesn't have his ult anyway, but Ninja Nick does. So they can like take a fight with Ninja Nick's Drop the Beat and then like a Black Hole or a High Noon. But as long as they don't ever pop Ninja Nick and Pure at the same time, it should be okay. And as long as they don't pop like Sheena's Ghost and Sickness at the same time, their ults, they should be okay. The offensive characters, like the attack characters, the Genji and the McCree, can kind of pop ult whenever they want. But if you're on Selfless right now, you kind of have to bait out these ults. Like you have to take a fight or two where you just force Ninja Nick or Pure to pop ult, because you can't really fight into this right now. You're really far behind because your teammates swapped their comp. Like when they started, they had the D.Va, the Winston, the Tracer, and the Genji. And now they got rid of the Winston and the D.Va, and they have Zarya, Reinhardt. So like they're really far behind in ults just because they had to switch characters. And then they lost the fight, so like they're losing another. Like they're really far behind right now.
Looking fantastic here for Splyce, and Clockwork sitting on a Deadeye.
Like if you're in Splyce's position, you're pretty comfortable. Like if they turn this corner again, you should probably just black hole, and that might actually be it. Like I don't know if you actually have to do anything else, because you can trade black hole for Transcendence, and that's a really good trade. It's like they pop Transcendence and they win the fight, or they don't and they lose it. But if they don't have it for the next fight, it's a big deal. I think that they're being a little too hesitant here. Like I'm gonna talk about this is really sloppy actually. It just like got really sloppy for no reason. I think Splyce should have just like been a little bit more proactive there, and they didn't need to drop the beat immediately. Like nobody was in position to do damage on Splyce, which I think is a mistake. Like Cygnus drops his black hole here, the Zarya drops the black hole, but he drops it on the shield, and like nobody is really around to finish up this damage, and nobody's around to like it's not an ideal black hole because he's not in a position to do damage in it. I think in an ideal world you would have like just gone into them before they got to the bus even, and just got your whole team in their face and drop black hole, and then if they pop Transcendence, you just run. Like you just take that, you're just like okay, and you just back out. Because if they're just sitting in a black hole with Transcendence on them, you can like wait out the Transcendence and then take a drop the beat. Ideally you want to like trade black hole for Transcendence here, because Transcendence is such a strong ult in this game that the teams that pop it, like if you can pop your Transcendence and group up, it's really hard to die. If teams pop Transcendence and still lose players, it means that they didn't play around it well enough. But I think that this was just a little, I mean, it's good, but they committed a lot, and it probably didn't need to be this committed this early. Like, I think you'd rather run the black hole into the, run the black hole, wait for the Transcendence, then drop the beat. But black hole, drop the beat at the same time, like, you don't need to do it, and you don't need to worry so much. Like, no one on your team is low. No one on your team is like even in a position to get killed, so it's a little overkill. Like it actually isn't even the worst play for you to just drop black hole and just take a really bad fight here. But you have to get this Transcendence out. If you can bait out this Transcendence, you're in such a good spot. But if I'm Selfless right now, I don't even want to use it. I should just die. But you see what happens here? Like they don't get that much. Like they just popped. Yeah, they keep the Transcendence, which is really smart. And that's what I mean. If Ninja Nick had saved drop the beat, they'd be in a way better position, because like you traded the black hole and that's fine, but the drop the beat was like too much and they didn't actually get anything out of it. Like they get that kill on Juvenile, but like it's not that big of a deal. These guys need to back out a lot faster though, or at least die a lot faster. The play here actually from Selfless is to not run, and I think that this is a mistake on their part. Like once they drop these two ults, you should just be trying to get kills, because like the spawns on this map are so far away. Offense has a huge spawn advantage, at least when the cart's this close. So like if they could have gotten in maybe and like tried to kill Pure or Ninja Nick or anyone instead of all running back to spawn, I think that they would have had a better time. But this is just like, I don't know, it's hard to get in that mindset though. You said in the past you drop the beat to initiate to ensure a good fight. Do you think that's mainly for offense? No, it depends on what you have, right? Like if you have drop the beat and black hole, you shouldn't try to use both of them immediately together. You should like use one and see what happens, and then like take the fight like one step at a time. Like I think that the black hole was really good, like the idea behind it, but if you drop another ult, you really need to get something out of it, and they didn't really get anything out of it. Like the cart is still kind of in the same spot. The Zenyatta never popped. I think if the Zenyatta popped, it would have been okay, because at least you traded a support ult for a support ult. But there was no reason here to drop the beat. Like they could have dropped the beat and fought into them and just taken the fight that way without the black hole, but taking it with the black hole and then drop the beat at the same time I think is the mistake. You can pick one or the other. I think running them both immediately together is like just a little overkill. Like that wasn't worth it. It's still a risky play right here from Shrugger though. The thing is though that Dax still doesn't have ult. Like, what's the time right now? They're 4 minutes in, and Dax still hasn't gotten, or there's only 4 minutes left, and Dax still hasn't got, like, he just gets his ult now and uses it. So Shayna's Ghost hits a really good Earth Shatter there, but so like, you see what I mean here? Like, you see what I mean? I don't know how Pure died. Does he die to Zarya? I think he got Earth Shattered and died. But you don't want, like, this is actually just really bad. This is like worst case scenario for Splyce now. Because like Shane and Juvenile dropped their ults at the same time. And I think Juvenile's came out like a half second later. So what happened was like Shane went down and died. Like, I think Juvenile just got the better one, but they both got them off at the same time. So like Juvenile went down from Shane's, but I think Shane went down from Juvenile's. But Michael 3D followed up on the damage from the Juvenile Earth Shatter, and then Pure died. So like, because Pure and Ninja Nick die at the same time, now they're just boned. Like, now they're actually just boned. I mean, they can take another fight. The good news is the cart's so far back that they should be able to hold the second checkpoint still. But that was like probably the least favorable engagement they could have taken there, just because of the fact that they let the Earth Shatter come off. Like, ideally you should just be more split up, because you know that you have to get this Transcendence off. Like, if you don't get this Transcendence off, you actually just lose this fight, and like they do lose this fight because they don't get the Transcendence off. But they have to be thinking in their heads like, we only win the next fight if I pop Transcendence.
And that's going to be a 4K for Selfless as they keep it moving forward.
That looked very, very clean. I mean, they had a bit of a...
But like, I don't know why they're all sitting on the card here. They should be moving up. Like, if you're Michael 3D right now, you literally have Black Hole, and you're about to have Transcendence. You have a Tracer even. Like, you should be pushing up with at least like 2 or 3 of these heroes. Because if you don't zone them at all, they're just going to walk up. Like, this Genji's not scary enough to warrant this play right here. Like, Michael 3D is just letting his ult tick up. But like, he could have it right now, and he could be using it. So like, there, he's like pushing up now. But he still doesn't have it. Has it now, has it now, has it now. Okay, you see what happens here? Like, this is all just like because he didn't push up fast enough. Like, here, if he was here, he could have black holed them around this corner, and they all would have gotten stuck, and they would have capped. But now it's contested, and I don't even think they got the checkpoint. So like, him not pushing up and getting that extra bit of damage forced his ult. Like, he only just got his ult, and he pops it like immediately, like a panic ult. And that's just, this is like really bad. Like, this is a really bad play. I don't want to like call him out for it, but like, he drops it as he's dying, and there's no follow-up from his team. And like, it forces Chili to have to pop this Transcendence, like try to keep his team alive, I guess. I don't even know what they're afraid of, to be honest with you. Like, they just got ran at by Shane and Pure and Ninja Nick, but Michael 3D not having his ult at this corner and just keeping them off the cart with the ult is actually really bad. And then he dies and uses it, and they don't have anything, so like, that's just a mistake. You place a lot of emphasis on the importance of being the team to initiate instead of reacting. Is this due to what kind of team comps are popular, or just an inherent part of Overwatch? I think it's just like, if you think about it, you don't want to be the team that has to like flashbang to like respond, or like, you don't want to have to drop the beat to keep your team alive. You want to like drop the beat to like force the enemy team to like think. Like, the teams that get pushed generally are the ones that lose the fights. Like, the teams that get initiated on generally lose, because if your positioning's bad, or like a team has too much health, it like really messes with your brain. Like, if a McCree comes at you with drop the beat on him or something, and he just flashbangs you, he can play so cocky. Some comps get affected by it, more by it than others. Like, if you're running a Roadhog, for example, and the enemy team drops the beat, and now there's a Reaper running at you with drop the beat on him, the concept of Roadhog just goes out the window, because you don't have the damage anymore to like insta-give the Reaper or insta-give whatever hero. So like, it just creates more cockiness and like aggression when you get to use your spells first, as opposed to like having to use them like to like try to save your life. Like, if you're a McCree and you're getting speed boosted in, you can flashbang and get a kill. But if you're seeing a McCree run at you full speed and you're not the one being like speed boosted, then you have to like think to yourself, should I roll out? Do I have to dodge his flashbang? Like, what's the play here to survive? And you want to generally be thinking about getting kills rather than surviving. Especially because in this game, there's not many counter ults. Like, there's not many like ults that'll counter initiate well. Like, I guess Transcendence is probably one of the better ones, and Earthshatter, but Earthshatter is not really reliable. Black Hole's okay, like Graviton's okay, but there's no reliable escape spells right now in this game as far as like getting your team safely out. Like you can back out behind a Reinhardt shield, but is that really always reliable? Not really. And you can pop Transcendence, but do you really want to pop Transcendence? So like being the initiator in this game is pretty good, especially because there's not many good counter-initiate heroes in this game right now. But you'll see like they didn't even cap, and they don't cap here, and then they just force all this panic. I mean, Splyce was in a good position from before, like don't get me wrong. They only lost that fight on the second point because like they fucked up. Not because like they were at a disadvantage. Like in reality, Splyce should have been able to have won the fight at the bus. So this is like karma catching up to Selfless, because Selfless dropped way too many ults at the bus fight. So like Splyce, this was them like getting their, like just getting their advantage back. But in reality, they shouldn't have been able to do this, because if Michael 3D had pushed up literally like 5 feet, he would have gotten his black hole off. And yeah, if you engage, you like force mistakes out of the enemy. But like they're pushing up here, and this is kind of weird to me. Like you can only make plays like this based off where the card is. This is like kind of throwy in my opinion, because you have cart positioning. Why are you, and you have dropped the beat. Like the only way that you don't hold this checkpoint right now is if your Lucio dies or like someone dies. But if you're not going to commit with drop the beat right here, then like there's no point in taking this fight. So I don't like this play from Splyce. Like they can just be sitting on the cart right now and then using their ult to like take a fight, because they're actually in such a good position right now. Like they have everything that they need. The Zenyatta Chili has 11, like 45 on DAC. Like they have nothing. They can't actually win any fights. Like Robwiz can Dragon Blade, but what do you care about Dragon Blade when you have Earthshatter, you have Drop the Beat, and you have Graviton? There's actually no way for Selfless to cap this point unless Splyce like feed here. And I don't know why they're risking it. Like they're taking a fight closer to the enemy spawn, and they're taking a fight like split up kind of. I don't know. This is really weird. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna say like if Splyce loses 1 or 2 players, then they're just gonna lose. We commit with beat, and I watch cart while Tracer gets called. So yeah, that's okay. I mean, but I would say that you're probably better off just holding the cart with drop the beat. Like there's no risk at that point. Because if you take a fight over there, you'll get reinforcements back faster. But if you take a fight over here and die, like anyone dies, then you're just like kind of boned. But I think that's something that a lot of teams don't realize too, is that like it really depends on where the Lucio winds up at the end of the fights. Because like if one team loses their Lucio, it doesn't matter where they are. Like they're just gonna get hunted down. But we'll see. If anyone dies, yeah. So this is good. They pop drop the beat, which is kind of good. But like if you see what I mean, like what did they really do? Like they just pushed them into their spawn and delayed them. Like they traded an ult for honestly not even any time. Because in the time that they just wasted, it was probably like the exact same time that they would have wasted walking to the card anyway from Selfless. The good news is that they're still super far behind on their ults, but like you traded drop the beat again for a Reinhardt kill, I guess. But you didn't really gain much cart time, maybe like 10 seconds. But Selfless would have had to have walked that distance anyway. I mean, it's just a small inefficiency, I think. But now you don't have any defensive ults, so you're just more susceptible to lose a fight here. So you guys need to get out right now and just use your black hole if you need it. Because right now you need to take a fight where Pure gets his ult up, but he doesn't like lose it. Like right here, I don't like this. Like you're pushing up into their spawn, but like what's the play? Yeah, like right here, I don't know. You lose Shane, they lose Juvenile. I think Sickness goes down here. Yeah, Sickness goes down here. And now Pure is in a position where he has Transcendence, but he doesn't want to use it because his team's dead.
As you said, it's a very risky game, but perhaps they feel like, you know what, maybe we feel like Splyce is
okay, this is actually super bad. This is one of those times where you have to like accept that you lost. Because like Nick still doesn't have his ult, and like you just popped Transcendence. I don't even know who's alive right now. Like all these players just died. Like I just watched Shane die. I watched Sickness die. I don't know how long ago these two died, but they're not here right now. Like this is just a Lucio and a Zenyatta. But the Zenyatta literally just popped ult to try to stop the cart. But like who gives a shit if they cap? They're gonna cap eventually, right? This is just like, I don't know, you're making the game really hard for yourself when you do stuff like this. Like I'm down with the drop the beat into their spawn. That was cool. That was definitely good. But the black hole into their spawn without your own drop the beat is like very, or like without any follow up is like really kind of hard to run. Like if Shrugger had Dragon Blade, it might have worked, you know. But Shrugger didn't have Dragon Blade with that black hole, so that black hole was kind of not ever gonna work, I guess, unless Shane like hits a really fat Earth Shatter. But like you don't really want to drop all those ults at the same time on defense anyway. Like I think you guys would have been a lot better off if you had just held the cart with the black drop the beat and the black hole at the same time, or like at least waited to drop the beat once you had like Shrugger up, because like Shrugger and drop the beat can work, and like black hole and Shrugger can work, and like Earth Shatter and Clockwork can work. There's a lot of combos. I think you would have been better off because like you guys had plowed them. Like you guys were so far ahead when you guys took the fight on the cart before, but yeah. Yeah, so like that was like, this is like disastrous. Like this is like super disastrous. Because if they just roll in right now and kill Ninja Nick one more time, it should just be GG. But we'll see. Yeah, you shouldn't have won that fight. But like you just needed to like play that a little bit smarter, I think. Not just the Transcendence at the end, but like the whole drop the beat and the whole like Graviton in their spawn shit, I think was a little like too much. Because it's all about the position of the cart. Like you can't afford to take fights where you're like gonna get wiped if the cart's gonna like get capped as a result. This is a good drop the beat. But then you black hole on top. I guess it's okay because you force out Chili's ult and then Shrugger comes in here now and like counters. But let me watch that back actually, because I'm not really sure what just happened. Back. Okay, what's the thought process here? This is just one of those times where you like don't respect the Transcendence, I think. And that's what I mean, like it's really hard to win fights when the enemy team has Transcendence, and it's really hard to force Transcendences out without... I would say that the play here, honestly, is pop Dragon Blade and go dive this Zenyatta. I think you guys do this backwards, actually. Tvik does this a lot better. Like he does this on Rogue, and I've seen them do it on purpose, is they'll run Dragon Blade just to force out Transcendence from the enemy team. Because like teams in their head will think to themselves like, oh, if I pop Transcendence here, like if I hear the Dragon Blade, I should just instantly pop Transcendence, and like that's generally a good way of thinking about it. But you have Black Hole, and I think that the Black Hole is a lot more powerful than the Dragon Blade, just as like a conceptual spell, because like they don't really have anything. Like you know that they don't have Earth Shatter because they just used it. I don't know where Dax dropped the beat went. I don't really remember where these ults came from. I think Michael 3D used his ult with Emong before to like secure them the checkpoint. I don't know where Juvenile was, but point being, if you pop Dragon Blade right now, you can like force out this Transcendence because they have to respond, right? If they don't, like there's no flashbang on this team to kill Shrugger in one hit, so like he doesn't have to worry about stuns. So he should actually just go in here right now with Dragon Blade and force out this Transcendence. But like since you do it backwards, you like try to pop Black Hole to force out the Transcendence. Shrugger has to like wait. But in reality, he could have like you could have done it the other way around and it would have been a lot more effective. I mean, it's hard to like think in that moment, but I would say that if you know that Dak doesn't have ult and you know Chili does, you should be trying to force out this Transcendence however you can, and the only real way to do it is the Dragon Blade. Because like on defense, you don't really need to worry so much about getting kills. You need to worry about like making sure the cart's not moving. Like as long as you don't die and the cart stopped, you're okay. But I would say that Sickness having Black Hole is a bigger deal than Shrugger having Dragon Blade. Like it just makes the game a little hard here. Because like Shrugger has to wait so long and it like fucks him. Like if he just pops right now, he's gonna force out Transcendence.
Waiting for that perfect moment, but the charge comes in, and that is going to commit everybody here for Splyce.
But like here I guess again is another criticism is like you keep doing this thing where you pop these two spells at the same time, these two abilities. Like they're not going to kill your whole team in the black hole, I guess is how you're supposed to look at it. Like if their whole team got black hole, like a 5-man black hole, you should honestly wait until this Transcendence goes up and then drop the beat instead of doing it at the same time, because like you're like nullifying. Like Transcendence is just such a good spell, you know? Like you hit Transcendence and it's so hard to get killed, especially when you're a black hole. Like black hole is kind of like Transcendence is like the counter to black hole in general. Like your whole team is grouped up, so like your whole team gets Zenyatta heals. If you had just waited here, like you speed boost in and you let Sickness drop his ult, their whole team is just sitting here doing absolutely nothing. They still don't have a McCree, so like Shrugger should be okay. And then you pop drop the beat when the black hole's like fading, and then you can get Shrugger with the Dragon Blade. Like that's another way to do it. But you keep stacking these two, and you're stacking them into Transcendence, and like you're not gonna ever win this, I guess. Like you don't need both of these ults to be wasted on the Transcendence. Like you're trading 2 for 1 pretty inefficiently. But yeah, if you had like a Tracer Bomb, it would have been okay. But like, these two ults going down at the same time, you're like pretty much just saying like, all right guys, let's go fuck them up. But in reality, they're just stuck in a black hole, and no one on their team even really does range damage. Like, who are you even scared of on this comp with that's in a black hole? Like, there's no McCree to snipe you. Like, unless you run at the Reaper, he's not going to kill you. I guess Shane, like, charges through and gets meat shot a few times, but even he didn't have to die here. If their team's in a black hole, they're just stuck there. Like, they don't have anything to deal with it. So, like, you can actually just pop black hole here, force out this Transcendence, and then pop drop the beat. And, like, that's all way more efficient and, like, better way to go about that fight. Because like Shrugger here is in such a shitty position because the drop the beat's already faded and they only just ended the Transcendence. And now like your team is just like falling apart because Shane died first, and then like their whole team survived the black hole, and you don't even have drop the beat now to finish it up.
Cannot get that done. He does get taken down, and so this is going to go very, very well in hand here for Selfless.
It does go well for Selfless.
But now you guys don't have any. Well, I guess Brad's about to have Transcendence, but it's going to be close unless he gets a few heals or damage out.
Selfless here was more of a war of attrition, but if Sickness didn't get the 2 picks that he'd gotten towards the end, Selfless would be in a much better position right now. So Selfless, or Sickness, doing a pretty good job of keeping Selfless back, at least for now. And going
But Ryan did a good job there, or Sickness did a good job there of like living, because he stopped the cart while he was dying. Didn't really get much traction. So there we go. Flank with the Emong pulse bomb. Like, they're really good at this, and this is just a good comp, I guess, because it kind of counters what you're trying to do. Like, a lot of teams will run, like I said before, like you'll run the Transcendence to counter. But like you pop Transcendence, and then Sticky Bomb doesn't really give a fuck about your Transcendence. Like, Sticky Bomb just goes in there and eats your Transcendence, and you're just like, what? And now this is where you just trickle in and try to like delay. Trying to gain time here. But I think you like boned yourself in that one fight. Oh my god, kill Brad. You're like staying alive somehow this entire time and they're just like not killing you. Alright, there's the cap. I mean, so I think that one fight boned you, and I think the fight in the streets boned you. But like, you probably could have full held them both times, or like, you could have gotten a lot more done on that one Dragon Blade fight. That's actually crazy that he lives with 3 health and then survives. Alright, let's go to defense. I'm actually like talking so much about this VOD, but this was a pretty good VOD because it was like back and forth. There's not many back and forth VODs, actually.
They got some kills off of that, but again, I think they would have been better served holding a little bit further back. They were holding.
But I like the Tracer idea. It's like, it's good because Tracer's just good on this map and it just makes sense, and it counters the Transcendence counter to the black hole. Like, it makes your black holes a lot more safe if you just wait to partner them up with the pulse bomb.
Selfless can feel okay-ish about it defending, but
Are they actually going to run the Mei here? Okay, they probably are going to run the Mei. This is probably a normal comp for them, but I don't... It's a little bizarre that they run the Mei without like a Reaper or a Zarya or something. Like, they don't have a frontline tank, they just have a Mei.
Thinking, okay, right now we kind of want to take the fight, maybe a little bit premature.
Never mind, they're switched off.
Maybe we don't have the positional advantage, but maybe we have the ultimate advantage. If we wait and play the slow drip.
Maybe it's possible I have too much of a set play mentality and I don't know if reading the opponent reactions to situations.
There is definitely a lot to be.
That's a part of it. I think it's just the general theory that you shouldn't be dropping two ults in the same like frame.
That's a very cute.
But
It looks very innocent there.
it's whatever.
Focus on Winston back when he was a baby. Both in the
It's hard though. Like the first fight of every map is actually like one of the hardest things in the game because teams can come out with like such set crazy shit, and if you don't have like the perfect setup, you can lose. So like the second and third point I think are the most important in general because like you have to anticipate losing the first point.
is that you look at where the
But if you don't, a lot of teams have a hard time reacting and like fighting the second point. I'll just pause for comps, I guess. They're running Genji, Winston, Tracer. Like this is like super all in. This is what they ran on offense actually, like the exact same comp, but now they're running it on defense. So their like mentality for this map is literally we're just gonna run our offense on defense. And Splyce is running the same thing that they ran, that Selfless ran, except they switched out the Tracer for the McCree. Selfless is gonna have a hard time though because their comp is almost too like there's no real damage mitigation. They have like shields and D.Va, but I don't know, this is a bizarre setup because like there's not really much straight protection for Dak and Chili. So if they can like kill the supports early, then that's really good.
in being a pest in the
But see how like they're split up right here? It's kind of like what happened to Splyce before, but I don't know. It really comes down to the support positioning, I think, in general on these maps.
Selfless.
But I like this Tracer because the Tracer's just gonna like find out where they are and try to like snipe people off.
Let's have a look at see how the attack will go there. Splyce looking to go up the stairs there.
Crouching Tiger hitting Winston.
Waiting for them. Roberts will spot the.
This is good. The Genji like spots them out, so they get a little bit more intel, and then Splyce decide to overload the top left.
Instant shield drop there by the Winston. Roberts coming in from the back with the Genji.
I think half of his shots there just got eaten by that D.Va Matrix. I remember the camera work being shoddy here. Yeah, like Shrugger just gets a double kill on the Genji, and the like Shrugger just killed 3 people, but we're watching a D.Va chase a Winston. Shrugger just killed 4 people. Shrugger killed like 5 people. I'm actually so confused because like the camera wasn't on anybody, but Shrugger went in. I think he just focused down the Zenyatta first. He gets the Zenyatta and he gets the Genji in the same like frame. I'm gonna assume Clockwork was hitting shots because like Clockwork generally hits shots. He was on McCree at the beginning, so he probably died. But I would say that what happened there was probably Clockwork hit a few shots and then Shrugger finished them off because I'm pretty sure Shane was getting chased by Juvenile most of the time. Sickness was up top left. I'm not sure who was doing damage with Shrugger. I don't think Shrugger just magically killed 3 people like at the beginning of that fight, but I mean, there's like definitely room, and I think that this goes back to like there's definitely room for like individual playmaking in this game. Like, I mean, I can talk about macro forever, right? But if like one person goes crazy, then like that's good. Like you can win a game off that.
Oh, there, if nothing else. That was a 4K by Shrugger to open things up in Splyce.
But yeah, he just got 3 or 4 kills and that's it. And now they're gonna run the Genji Winston Tracer. I think that this is really smart. I just like this comp on this map.
Look at their ult charge. They're going to be
The only thing I would change out here is like get Sickness off of the D.Va and like maybe go, I don't know, anything else like a Zarya.
selfless. It'll be a great achievement for them.
Because like the D.Va's gonna have a hard time like getting anything done. There's not really much hit scam for him to be eating,
Take advantage.
and there's not many like there's just nothing really for him to do other than hit Q, I guess.
No strike there, and he needs all the charge he can get at this point. And while that said, Shrugger's going to be in there with a fast.
I don't know what happened here to Shane. I didn't really catch it on the camera. He gets killed by the Tracer. I guess he ate a sticky right before the drop the beat came out. That's just really unlucky timing, but they're getting a lot done with this Dragon Blade actually.
Charge on the Dragon Blade. He's going to
Like Shrugger's just going nuts. Like he's in one of those like, and this is one thing I think that a lot of teams don't do enough is they don't like this is really good from Splyce because they realize like Shrugger realizes they just got a 5k, right? Like Shrugger's not gonna like Shrugger's probably the only person with ult. And Ninja Nick got his ult super fast too. Like that was actually a really fast drop to beat, and even Pierre's pretty close. And that goes back to like them running the D.Va Winston at the beginning. Like they have so much tank to heal. So the fact that they pop Dragon Blade and drop the beat at the same time, like there's no response from Selfless. Like they actually don't have any support ults. Like Dak's only at 70, Chili's only at 70, Michael 3 is at 20. I think he switched heroes. Juvenile switched heroes. So like Selfless had to swap heroes to like go a more standard comp. And then Splyce just like, okay guys, we're rolling, like let's just keep rolling, and they just hit Q as soon as possible because it makes sense to. Like if you get a Dragon Blade and drop the beat off and there's actually no way for Selfless to do anything about it, then you get fights like this where Shrugger can just get a 4K and like nothing happens.
Everybody dead, Shrugger creating all the space in the world that is required to get that payoff moving. So
yeah, even now, like Selfless have nothing. Rob Wiz just switched classes or switched heroes again. I think he just got off Winston to go Reaper. They should be in a good spot. Shane moves up to push them out. So ELeague forces out the Transcendence, but they still don't even have their own Transcendence. So like what's like this is actually just them, that first point fight actually just like snowballed them to this point. The good news is that they, for Selfless here, is that they just expended all of their advantage. Like that snowball was actually just really well handled by Splyce, but now it's over, right? Like now everything's reset, and this is where like Selfless has to figure out if they're gonna, like this is where it comes down to Selfless playing smart or just efficient to like hold, because they're actually in a good position now. Selfless, like 6 minutes obviously is a long ass time, or 5 minutes so they have to hold, but as long as they don't stagger, like use too many ults at the same time, I think they'll be okay, because they actually have like a 4 or 5 ult advantage right now on Splyce. I watched this. This was pretty funny. Like ELeague tries to find this McCree and he just doesn't know where he went. I think he gets killed by the McCree too at the end here. But I think Selfless is making a mistake here and like letting them push up too far. But Shayna's Ghost dying here actually just fucks them. I don't think they didn't have their own Earth Shatter. They were really close. But Shane dying there just opened up the door for that drop for that Earth Shatter from Juvenile, and I think that was pretty like, I don't know. That's pretty like bad timing, I guess. But Splyce needs to go in here. Like Splyce needs to be going in and forcing out ults. So if they can like take, they should honestly just take like 1 or 2 more fights and try to get out like Chili's ult or something. But they're in a really hard position to win from right now because they like, there's just a lot of, like this is like one of those fights. I think there's just a lot of sloppiness, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like, did you really need to drop the beat there and Earth Shatter and Transcendent? Like, you could have probably just gotten away with drop the beat and Dragon Blade and traded it for Transcendence and called it a day. And then you could take this fight with Transcendence Dragon Blade now, or like Earth Shatter and Speed Boost and Transcendence. The good news is you got rid of the Transcendence, but I would say that it wasn't efficient. Like you just Earth Shattered out of a black hole, but your team doesn't really, you don't really have a team that can follow up anyway. I think it's okay to lose fights. Like you don't have to win this fight here, or you didn't have to win that last one. So like losing it there was okay. Ooh, ELeague hits a fat sticky bomb, and that's just another one of those times where individual play just trumped the ult advantages. Now like the game's reset again, and that comes down to using way too many ults on that last push, like in like a situation that you probably weren't gonna win anyway. Oh, okay. So like this, I didn't understand what happened here. This is actually like one of the most game-losing things I think about this entire game. So like Selfless was in a really good position because ELeague hit that really fat pulse bomb, but Dak actually just got so cocky. I'm gonna rewind this because I think it was actually worth watching again. So like ELeague hits a sticky bomb or whatever, and you just run around in circles, cart trolling backwards, like fine. Cart trolling backwards, cart trolling backwards. Why is Dak here? See Dak here? This is Dak. You guys can't see because it's like super low def, and I apologize because YouTube VODs are hard to download. But this little speck here is Dak. The cart is here. His team is like, you can't even see them, like they're off the screen and shit. But Dak is here. Dak the Lucio with 93% ult. And Clockwork's like, LOL, what the fuck? So like, if Dak dies here, like he's not even gonna get his ult off. So like, let's watch this. Bam, bam, bam. Dak goes down to like 5 HP, and then somehow Shane snipes him with a fire strike. Like, honestly, this is like best case scenario, because like Splyce in reality shouldn't win this next fight, because they're gonna have drop the beat for Dak, they're gonna have Transcendence on Chili, and they're gonna have Black Hole, and all Splyce has is like fucking High Noon. That's actually all that they have. But Dak is like, LOL, I'm so cocky. And then he fucking dies here. Okay, your Lucio's down. Okay, now if you're Splyce, you're like, what the fuck, let's go. And now Selfless is like, guys, we have to wait for our Lucio, we have to wait for our Lucio. They should honestly Black Hole right now and fucking pray to Jesus that they can like hold this fight. But they don't. They get this High Noon, whatever. This isn't even a good High Noon, because like they're not even, oh, I still have the circle on the screen. Why didn't they Black Hole here? Like, Black Hole them here and just accept the fact that you have to waste the Black Hole there. Like, you need to. Your Lucio's fucking dead and you don't have speed boost. And they're just running at you. They have heals and they have speed. And all you have for heals right now is your fucking Zenyatta. So, like, watch. Pure somehow snipes Juvenile. So now you're down your Reinhardt and you're down your Lucio. Your Lucio just spawned. Your Reinhardt's dead. You have like 3 players alive on your team. So no matter what happens here, what's up, puppy? So now Dak panics ults, and then Chili panic ults, and Michael 3D panic ults. Like, they just fucking dropped the whole world, dude. Like, if you're Splyce right now, you're completely happy with this, because like Selfless handled this situation so poorly. All they had to do was pop Black Hole and like maybe like run at them with Transcendence and like see what happens, and then when Dak spawns you can get your drop the beat off and take another fight. But instead they back out, they don't drop the Black Hole, they get zoned by the High Noon, their Reinhardt dies, and then they lose. But like, look at Striker. Striker's like, LOL, okay, what's happening? So now Clockwork hits a few shots and that's all it took. But they had no business winning here. This is actually like this was just a super awful play from Selfless. Like, this whole combination of things that just happened. Like, I hate to like be so harsh, but they really should have won that. But Dak getting so cocky just like fucked them. And then them not responding to Dak dying fucked them even harder. Because like they lost their Reinhardt and they dropped the Black Hole to do absolutely nothing. They should have dropped the Black Hole to wait for Dak. They could have 5-man Black Hole that corner and just waited for Dak. And just accepted that Black Hole was over. But like, they chose probably the worst case scenario that they could have taken, and then that was enough for Splyce to win the map. Like, I don't want to say that this was like super good play from either team, but I would say that the mistakes were a lot more apparent than the like big plays. Like, Striker had a lot of big plays. I think like Clockwork, they didn't have the camera on Clockwork much because they just had it on Striker, but I'm sure Clockwork was hitting his shots. I'm sure like Pure and Ninja Nick were hitting their thing, like their spells and stuff, their healing spells. But like, how, like, that whole scenario that just happened there, like that entire string of events where Dak just dies, just like started this chain reaction of awful mistakes and decision making. Like, they went so on tilt when Dak died that they actually had no idea how to play the game anymore, and that was what happened. Like, if they had, like, they needed to just say like, okay, Dak is dead, and then just hit Q on the Zarya and just wait for Dak. Because they should have won that last fight, to be honest with you, but they let way too many people die after Dak died. So yeah, that was map 1. Time for map 2.